And in this video, I will show you how I cut fabric using one of our patterns that you can download exclusively on our website. We are finally ready to cut our vintage or thrifted fabric. Before we get started, I would encourage you to like, subscribe, and share this video. Let's get started. We're going to cut our 3 bow blouse pattern today, but any pattern will work. This fabric is scrap vintage yardage that I got from a reseller, and I've gone ahead and washed it, and I'm going to iron out the wrinkles. Lay out all your pattern pieces. If you need to learn how to cut your pattern pieces, go ahead and pause this video and watch my other video about cutting and assembling a PDF pattern. Refer to the first page of your PDF on approximately how much yardage you'll need per size. Lay out your fabric. Place all your pattern pieces on top. Make sure you have enough fabric and start to strategize how you're going to proceed. Take into account that there are pattern pieces that require 2 or more pieces to be cut. Pay attention to grain lines. You are going to want to look for the grain line on your pattern, and you're going to run it parallel to the selvage of the fabric. If you are cutting 2 pieces, this usually means that it is a pair. There is a left side and a right side. You will be cutting one pattern right side up, then you will take the same pattern, flip it over, and mirror it. But if you fold your fabric in half, you are able to lay out your pattern and do this part and cut in one swoop. Now that I have a plan, I will sort out the design as I am cutting this fabric. I am now making the important design choices and figuring out where the diamonds will sit within my pattern. Technically, this fabric is a stripe, so I now have to figure out where the hemline is going to sit within these diamonds. I want both sides of my garment to be symmetrical, so when I fold my fabrics, I will line up all the tips of the diamonds to make sure that they are symmetrical. To check that all my layers are lined up, I will pin through all the layers of the fabric with a safety pin, and I will turn my fabric to the other side to check if they have been pinned in the same spot. You can use this technique for any printed fabric, as long as the print is mirrored. My fabric is now ready and I am about to begin cutting. The front bodice will be folded in half and will be lined up to the fold line of the fabric. I will also take my back bodice pattern and cut it at the same time, since it requires that I cut 2 pieces. All these spaces out here will be utilized to cut my back facings. I will take advantage of the spaces right here to save fabric. I also need to cut 6 pieces of this back strap, so eventually they will end up at the end of the fabric. I recommend beginning to cut from at least 2 inches from the edge of the selvage. To be super meticulous about the diamonds lining up, I will draw the diamond pattern onto my paper pattern just to make sure that I have my pieces lined up. And as you can see, when they're cut, they could eventually match up like a stripe. And once you are happy with the placement, grab your paper weights and we can begin to cut. Use a very good quality fabric scissors to cut your fabric. This will make a huge difference in the result. Cut your fabric pieces carefully and make sure that you are cutting it close to the edge of the pattern. And do not pull or put stress in the fabric as you cut. While cutting, make sure to clip all your notches. This step is very important in helping you with a smoother sewing process. With chalk or washable pen, mark all the dots. Transfer the marks through the other side using a safety pin. Make sure that these scores are visible and easy to spot. Periodically check that the grain lines are matching against the selvage, because patterns could shift while we are cutting. I'm using a ruler to make sure that my grain line is parallel to my selvage. Cutting on grain allows the fabric to lay nicely on the body after your garment is sewn. Proceed to cut the rest of your pattern pieces. Make sure to notch and mark all the holes. Now let's grab the pattern pieces that need to be fused. We are fusing these pieces because they need to be stabilized.
It is very common to fuse necklines as well as armholes and back facings. Since our final garment will be woven, I am using a lightweight woven fusible. Begin by cutting around your fabric, but leave a little bit of an allowance around it. This ensures that you have enough fabric to cut this piece. And with an iron, fuse the back side of your fabric against the sticky part of the fusible. Once the fabrics are fused, you can line them back up and proceed to cut. Don't forget to notch and mark all the dots. And finally, check that all your pattern pieces have been cut and that you are happy with the placement of your patterns if this is applicable to your fabric. The key to great design is really to be very strategic about how you place your patterns and how you're executing it with the cutting process. In this case, I'm extremely happy and I am so excited to go ahead and begin sewing.
So there you have it. We've gone ahead and cut our garment and we are ready to sew. If you love upcycled fashion and you would like to make some in the sustainable way that lasts, please go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!